Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have qualified therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, so the question today is, what is antisocial personality disorder? Okay, so antisocial used to be called sociopath, used to be called psychopath, okay? What it is it's a blatant disregard for the social contract. So we all abide by a social contract. We have right and wrong, and we know that if we do wrong, there are usually consequences for that. And so most people avoid doing things that are going to get them arrested, in front of the court system, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With somebody who's got antisocial personality disorder, the social contracts do not apply to them in their head. It's like, for them, it's like, I'm above that. That doesn't apply to me. I can do what I want. Me, I, more, right? So, all right, so, and this is part of the dark triad. So psychopath is antisocial, narcissistic, and then control freak. And you will see that at the further down the line in the personality disorders, the more all of the personality disorders start overlapping. So, okay, so let's read what is the criteria here. Okay, diagnostic criteria. A pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others, occurring since age 15 as indicated by 3 or more of the following. You only need 3. 1, failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors as indicated by repeatedly performing acts that are grounds for arrest. So constantly shoplifting, setting fires, stealing, ripping people off, fraud, constantly doing things like that. That's what that's talking about. Number 2, deceitfulness, lying, as indicated by repeated lying, use of aliases, or conning others for personal profit or just pleasure. Sometimes these people do it just because it's fun to them. Good Lord, my glasses are dirty. So it's a pattern of doing harmful things, sometimes for their own profit, oftentimes for their own profit, but sometimes it's just I got away with it. Look at that. I was able to do that. Ha ha, I'm smarter than you. I was able to con you. That kind of thing. Okay. 3, impulsivity or failure to plan ahead. Very impulsive. So things will happen. They'll see something. They want something. So there was a Buffy episode, I see it, I want it. It's when she was with Faith, I think it was. And Faith was like trying to corrupt Buffy. I know, I'm dating myself here, but I used to love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Anyway, I see it, I want it. That's kind of their attitude. So they'll smash the jewelry case, they'll take the stuff. If somebody has something I want, I'm going to get it because I want it. Okay, disregard for, okay, you smash the jewelry case, there's 100,000 million cameras, what do you think's going to happen? Hello? So they don't think about that. They're very impulsive. Or if somebody hurts them, they will impulsively strike back, assault, with a deadly weapon, that kind of thing. So impulsivity or failure to plan ahead. They don't plan. They don't think about consequences. They don't think about if A, then B. So that kind of thing. Number 4, irritability and aggressiveness as indicated by repeated physical fights or assault. They are angry all the time. And because of the impulsiveness, they're acting out on that anger all the time. So yeah, always getting into fights, assaulting people, getting into trouble. 5, reckless disregard for the safety of self or others. They will do things that are dangerous and not care whether they get hurt, not care whether somebody else gets hurt, play chicken, that kind of thing in the car, playing chicken in the car, other things, doing stuff that could totally harm this person or harm that person. They don't care. They don't care. Consistent irresponsibility as indicated by repeated failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor financial obligations. In other words, They'll blow through people. Oh, hey man, I need you to lend me $100. Oh, hey man, I need you to do this. Hey man, I need you to do that. And then they'll blow off the people and not pay them back. And then they'll get a whole group of new friends, and then they'll sucker them for money and then blow them off and not pay them back. Or they'll get credit cards in somebody else's name and not, take responsibility or justify what they've done. That's going to be coming up. That's in one of the things. But yeah, so they'll blow through money. They don't pay bills. They don't honor debts. They don't act like an adult. Okay, 7, lack of remorse. No empathy. No empathy. None. Zip, zero, zilch, nada. They do not care that they have harmed another person. Lack of remorse as indicated by being indifferent to or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another. Well, it was okay that I stole that because I wanted it. It was okay that I stole that because, well, I don't have it and they do. What? I'm sorry. No. So their moral compass is not existent. And if you'll notice, a lot of these traits are also what narcissists do. And this is what you see in the dark triad. So you've got psychopath, which is antisocial, narcissistic personality disorder, Machiavellian. And like I said, the further along the spectrum that you get, the more that all of these personality disorders start overlapping, and they all start kind of, wow, you're doing this, and this is part of that as well, and this is part of that as well, and holy cow, woo. Yeah, so there is that. Okay, the individual is at least 18 years old. This is criteria B. C is there is evidence of conduct disorder onset before the age of 15. So conduct disorder is where they are just not obeying rules. They're not, that kind of thing. D, the occurrence of antisocial behavior is not exclusively during the course of schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. So yeah, it can be misdiagnosed, or those two can be misdiagnosed as antisocial if the person does not know what they're doing. So there is that. So yeah, antisocial personality disorder used to be sociopath, used to be psychopath. So now it's antisocial personality disorder. The rules do not apply to them. They have a blatant disregard and lack of empathy and will excuse their behavior. Well, I did it because I needed to. I did it because they have it and I don't. I did it because they're evil, bad people and, I deserve it. Whatever, So there is that. Okay, then the next question. You guys are asking a lot of really, not medical, but diagnosis questions. So the next one is, what is oppositional defiant disorder? Okay, hold on. Let me find that one. Where did it go? So while I'm looking for that one, oh, there it is. 462. Okay. 462. Yeah, they start overlapping. Okay, oppositional defiance disorder. A pattern of angry or irritable mood, argumentative, defiant behavior, or vindictiveness lasting at least 6 months, as evidenced by at least 4 symptoms from any of the following categories and exhibited during interaction with at least one individual who is not a sibling. Okay. Angry, irritable mood. 1, often loses their temper. 2, is often touchy or easily annoyed. 3, is often angry or resentful. Argumentative/defiant behavior. 4, often argues with authority figures or, for children and adolescents, with adults. Number 5, often actively defies or refuses to comply with requests from authority figures or with rules. 6, often deliberately annoys others. 7, often blames others for his or her mistakes and behaviors. And oftentimes, if this is not nipped in the bud, this goes on to become antisocial personality disorder. So if you notice some of the similarities going on there. Okay. Vindictiveness. 8, has been spiteful or vindictive at least twice in the past 6 months. So that's oppositional defiance disorder. Okay, so I hope those answered that question. Oh, good Lord, there's another one on, okay, histrionic personality disorder. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find this one. Schizotypal. No, 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 no. That's not what I want. Nope. 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 Hang on. I'm almost there. Okay. That's borderline. Nope, here we are. All right. Histrionic personality disorder. A pervasive pattern of excessive emotionality and attention-seeking behavior beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by 5 or more of the following. 1, is uncomfortable in situations where he or she is not the center of attention. Now, interesting, this sounds like NPD. This sounds like narcissistic personality disorder. But like I said, further you get down the line, they start overlapping. 2, interactions with others are often characterized by inappropriate sexual seductiveness or provocative behavior. 3, displays rapidly shifting and shallow expressions of emotions, like they don't ever go really deep. They don't ever feel anything too deeply. 4, consistently uses physical appearance to draw attention to themselves. 5, have a style of speech that is excessively impressionistic and lacking in detail. 6, shows self-dramatization, theatricality, and exaggerated expression of emotions. So these are your drama kings, your drama queens, that type of thing. 7, excuse me. 7, is suggestible, easily influenced by others or circumstances. 8, considers relationships to be more intimate than they actually are. So these are, a great example of that is like high school. So we're like, you know, people will come together and like, oh, this is my best friend ever, you know, that kind of thing. Except that this doesn't stop in high school. They continue doing it in adulthood. And they think that everyone is their best friend, or they think that the relationships that they're having are deeper than they actually are. So they may get involved with somebody. This also could be a stalker situation where somebody like this gets involved with somebody and they think they're having this romantic relationship with this person. And in fact, that's not the case. So, you know, there's a disconnect from reality as far as that is concerned. So that's histrionic personality disorder. And if you'll notice, there's a lot of overlapping with narcissism and a lot of overlapping with borderline. So like I said, as you get further and further down the spectrum, all of these personality disorders start overlapping. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great. Okay, that is good. Okay, so the question is, can borderline personality disorder be misdiagnosed with bipolar, or bipolar be misdiagnosed as borderline? Yes, it can. So let me look up bipolar disorder so I can help explain what that is. Where did it go? Where did it go? No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Nope. 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 Hold on. Nope, that's not it either. Hang on. Ah, there we go. Okay, bipolar 1, 123. Hang on. Okay. Okay. 123. Okay. So, bipolar 1. So there's different bipolars. There's bipolar 1, bipolar 2. And actually it can go on down. So, okay. For a diagnosis of bipolar 1 disorder, it is necessary to meet the following criteria for a manic episode. The manic episode may have been preceded by and may be followed by hypomanic or major depressive episode. Okay. So bipolar. Bipolar meaning that you go from one extreme to another. You go from totally, you know, up and hyped and manic and cleaning and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm on top of the world, and then boom, you crash into the bottom and you're depressed and you can't get out of bed. You don't want to take care of yourself. You're, you know, suicidal. You're, you know, the whole thing. The biggest mistake that people make is that they always think that people are going to commit suicide when they are in the depressed phase of the bipolar episode. And in reality, what ends up happening is that they commit suicide when they're in the manic phase because they have the energy to do it. So it's really important to keep an eye on people that have got bipolar so that you can monitor them and make sure that they are not suicidal, or if they are, that they get the appropriate help. Okay, manic episode. A distinct period of abnormally and persistent elevated, expansive, or irritable mood, and abnormally and persistently increased goal-directed activity or energy, lasting at least 1 week and present most of the day, nearly every day, or any duration if hospitalization is necessary. Now, the only difference would be with rapid cycling. So, with rapid cycling, the person can go manic, depressed, manic, depressed, manic, depressed within a 24-hour period. Like they can go, 4 or 5 hours of manic and then crash into depression for 5 or 6 hours and then come back up into, manic and go back into depression. And, so the rapid cycling is really, really hard on the person. And that very much needs to be a hospitalization situation. Okay. During the period of mood disturbance and increased energy or activity, 3 or more of the following symptoms, 4 if the mood is only irritable, are present to a significant degree and represent a noticeable change from usual behavior. 1, inflated sense of self-esteem or grandiosity. So working at the homeless shelter, we had this one guy that did have bipolar, and every time he went off his meds, we had to stop him from giving up all of the social services that he had in place and going to Hollywood so that he could go, prove to them what a great singer he was. The problem of it was this gentleman could not carry a tune in a bucket, even on a good day. So, but he was convinced he was the next, big singer, and he was an older gentleman. So, he would get this incredible sense of just, I'm the greatest singer ever on the face of the planet, and I'm going to go to Hollywood, and they're going to recognize me, and I'm going to get a singing contract, and so there's that. So, inflated sense of self-esteem or grandiosity. 2, decreased need for sleep, so feels rested after only 2 to 3 hours of sleep. 3, more talkative than usual or pressured talking. So like pressured, like I have to get it all out right now, and that's kind of one of the clues, if you know somebody's got bipolar, is that they suddenly, not just talking fast, I talk fast, but I talk fast all the frickin' time. It's like this pressured, have to get it out, can't, don't take a breath, got to get everything out, like really, really fast and really pressured. So that's the kind of thing that they're talking about. Flight of ideas or subjective experience that thoughts are racing. So when they're talking, it's like they're here and now they're there and they're talking about this and over there and then I'm talking about that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to all over the place. Distractibility, attention too easily drawn to unimportant or irrelevant external stimuli as reported or observed. So they're easily taken off track. They can't focus. Increase in goal-directed activity, either socially, at work or school, or sexually, or psychomotor agitation. For example, purposeless, non-goal-directed activity. So, repetitive stuff that's not going to help anything. So, like sweeping the same part of the lawn, or sweeping the same part of the front porch, or, things that are not really goal-directed. There's no point to it, kind of thing. Excessive involvement in activities that have a high potential for painful consequences. For example, engaging in unrestrained buying sprees, sexual indiscretions, or foolish business investments. So I have seen people that have bipolar go to Vegas, lose the farm, get into the ATM, and take out thousands of dollars on their credit card to continue to gamble. So okay. C, the mood disturbance is sufficiently severe to cause marked impairment in social or occupational functioning or to necessitate hospitalization to prevent harm to self or others, or there are psychotic features. So when the brain is doing this, what the heck is going on? A lot of people are like, I don't get it. Why is the brain doing this? So what's happening is, when they're in the manic phase, the brain is bathed in all the feel-good chemicals. So like the endorphins, the norepinephrines, the serotonins, the dopamine, everything that makes us feel good. It's just bathing the brain in it. And the senders and receivers, so the The senders are sending, but the receivers are not sucking it up at the appropriate rate, okay? Either they're not working at all, or they're, they're doing it at a very slow pace. So the brain gets bathed in all of these feel-good chemicals, and yeah, you're on top of the world. You think you're the greatest thing ever, and you feel great, And then when it goes in the opposite direction, all of a sudden the senders stop pumping out all of the feel-good chemicals. Then the receivers suck literally everything up. Now there's no feel-good chemicals. Boom, total crash. Like from top of the world, ma, to boom, I'm in hell. Like seriously, like there's no feel-good. There's nothing. It's like literally like, I don't want to get out of bed. There's no point. Nothing feels good. Nothing tastes good. Nothing, nothing brings me joy. Nothing, it's like really bad. When this happens, because of the brain chemistry issue, there can be psychotic features. There can be hallucinations. There can be delusions, like my gentleman at the homeless shelter that was convinced that he was the next Bing Crosby. Delusions, hallucinations, audio hallucinations, video, visual, you know what I'm saying? So you can auditory, visual, all sorts of stuff, because the brain chemistry is completely wonky donkey. Like there's, it's not balanced. Let's put it that way. So that's a danger. So if they're having delusions or hallucinations or psychotic features, yeah, that's a hospitalization thing. Okay. Okay. The episode is not attributable to psychological or physiological effects of substance abuse. Like, obviously, if somebody's doing meth, that's going to imitate the manic phase, that kind of thing. A full manic episode that emerges during an antidepressant treatment, but persists at a fully syndromal level beyond the physiological effect of that treatment is sufficient evidence that a manic episode and therefore bipolar 1 diagnosis is happening. So there is that. So that is the manic phase of bipolar. The depressive episode, depressed mood, most of the day, nearly every day, is indicated by either subjective report, feels sad, empty, or hopeless, or observations made by others. Number 2, marked diminished interest and pleasures in all or almost all activities, most of the day, nearly every day. Significant weight loss when not trying to diet, decrease or increase in appetite nearly every day, insomnia or hypersomnia every day, so lots of sleep. So if they're at the manic phase, they're not sleeping. In the depressed phase, they're sleeping almost all the time. Psychomotor agitation nearly every day, or the opposite, no agitation, not moving, not, that kind of thing. 6, fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day. 7, feelings of worthlessness. So I'm a horrible person. I can't get out of bed. I can't, do things with my kids. I'm a terrible mom or dad or whatever. Lots of all or nothing thinking, and usually very negative. Diminished ability to think, concentrate, or indecisiveness nearly every day. Reoccurrent thoughts of death. Reoccurrent suicidal ideation without a specific plan or suicide attempt or specific plan for committing suicide. So, yeah. So it's bipolar. When somebody's in the manic phase, it can be misdiagnosed as histrionic or borderline. So you want to make sure that if there's anything going on that is funky-dunky, you want to look it up and talk to somebody who knows what they are doing so that they can get you the appropriate help. Because mood stabilizers are not going to do anything for borderline. That's behavioral, right? This is chemical. This is the brain being unable to produce the proper amount of feel-good chemicals and the receivers being able to absorb them back up, okay? So it's like too much of the feel-good chemicals, not enough of it being absorbed back up, and then it goes the opposite direction. No feel-good chemicals, nothing there to absorb, or it's being all absorbed and nothing's, sticking around. So it's a brain chemistry issue, and the psychotic features are also a brain chemistry issue. So that absolutely needs an absolute, doctor, MD. Yes, for sure. Not just talk therapy. Talk therapy, it can help with the feelings of worthlessness. It can help with the feelings of out of control because it's a scary disease to have. but it's not, talk therapy is not going to fix the brain chemistry. You've got to go to an MD, a psychiatrist. In some states, it's a psychologist that can prescribe, get a diagnosis, get on a mood stabilizer, and that's the best way to deal with that. So yeah, it can be, when you're in the manic phase, it can absolutely be misdiagnosed. So that's why it's important that, you know, you talk about the depression as well as the manic phase so the provider gets a good idea of what is going on. Okay, wow. I think that pretty much, yeah, because we're at the 25. Okay, so those were the questions I got. This week, I am going to be talking about toxic in-laws, everyone's favorite subject. Yay! So we'll be talking about, you know, what to do if your spouse is on the same page, what to do if your spouse is not on the same page, how to handle them, what to do. Since we're in the holiday season, I figure there's probably a lot of, like I said, hoovering and a lot of toxic family stuff, even though, you know, we can use COVID as an excuse to not go anywhere, so that kind of works. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about narcissistic, toxic in-laws. Yay! All right, guys, have a great few days. I will talk to you on Sunday at noon, Arizona time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And somebody gave me Greenwich Mean Time, and I can't even remember what it is. So anyway, sorry, guys. All right, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.